By definition, an antenna is a metal whip designed to receive and transmit radio signals within a given area.
It's BS in the Morning on KSLQ and Westplex 107.1.
It is BS.Show. I remember when that song first came out, people went, what the hell is that? That wasn't the kind of music that Justin Timberlake was used to turning out. But anyway, that is what it is, right? It is 6:11. It's just turned over to 6:12. Good morning. This is BS.Show. It's a Friday edition. We always have more fun on Friday because I get to pick the music. Yes, play whatever I want, play weird stuff that you don't normally hear in the radio. It's really interesting. Radio, sort of ebbs and flows, and there's this station, talked about it before, up in Canada, up in Edmonton, I believe, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and it's called Now 102.3. Really interesting because they go exactly against the grain of what the radio business is doing right now, and they're killing it. They have very talented people on the air, and what they're doing, they're started doing like, if I say the jack format, the only people in the radio business know what the jack format is. The arch is what they call the jack format, where all of a sudden, hold on, I got cough here. A radio station comes along and plays music that doesn't fit any one format. For example, back in the day, there used to be country and western, and there was rock. Well, now you've got all these little definitions. You've got like modern rock and what they call AAA and classic rock, and our format's what they call hot CHR, which eventually are hot AC. There's all sorts of different formats, but they have essentially they're staying in their lane, so to speak. Well, this station's playing up-tempo, a lot of the music we're playing. Plus, every once in a while, they're throwing a George Strait song. They're throwing a Garth Brooks song. Or they're throwing something from the Sex Pistols. It's just all over the place. And it's just sort of refreshing because it's like going to a wedding reception, okay? When you go to a wedding reception, they don't play, at least most of the wedding receptions, there are probably exceptions. But when you go there, they play everything for everybody. They play they play all the favorites. They play, the wedding, the classic wedding songs. Plus, they probably play the hokey pokey, and stuff like that. Because it's just everybody's taste is just sort of all over the place. And it's not necessarily when they play the hokey pokey, it's not all the grandma and grandpas get out on the dance floor. It's everybody. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. They're sort of universal songs. And that's what we try to do on Friday morning with the music. There are songs that I pick out. Yes, I pick them. And which some of you may go like, I haven't heard that song in 20 years. Or I've never heard that song at all. Where the hell did you get that? That kind of a thing. So anyway, that's what we try to do on Friday. It's all about what I say is putting you in the best mood possible for the best day of the week, which is Friday. I have a debate sometimes. Seriously. Sometimes I think that Monday's the best day. And I got that TGIM, thank God it's Monday thing from, you know where I got that from? You know where I got that from, Shelley? TGIM. You know who said that? No, I don't, Brad. Tell me.
I'm sorry. I had my podcast.
No, I don't, Brad. Tell me.
Who?
Sam Walton.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Sam did not like the weekends. He wanted to get back to work. So he always talked about TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. Back to work. Because, he was, as he got old up there in years, he was a grandfather and he had to do the grandfather stuff and he had to play with the grandkids, all that boring stuff. He wanted to get back to work, where it's fun and exciting. You're making progress, not screwing around with grandkids. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Watching a little human sit there and grow
and drool
is
and
fascinating.
drool on themselves and poop in their diapers and stuff like. Oh yeah, that's so fascinating, right? So fascinating. Hey, four kids.
Just so you know, it's not too far away from me, so let's not make fun of that.
4 kids.
Drooling and stuff like that.
I have 4 kids, changed literally thousands of diapers in my year. I'm done. It's just boring. I've been there, done that, not doing it again, Now, having said that, if something happened where I'd had to step in, I'd do that. But, as at this point, and I met someone the other day. They said to me, I can't wait till my kids have kids. I go, why is that? I want to be a grandparent. I go, so in other words, your life goal is to be a grandparent? You have another? No, that's my singular life goal. I go, wow, your life's boring. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I know I'm going to tick people off when I say things like that, but there are people, that's their life goal. you probably know friends of yours that, when you got married, was your mom like, hey, when are you going to have kids so she can be a grandparent? Did your mom ever say that to you?
No, I had Tiffany when I was like 12.
Well, no, but you probably had friends of yours that said, my mom's bugging me to get married and have kids. You know what I'm saying?
No, I've never had that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you, your friends.
I know. I've never had a friend say my mom's on my butt to get pregnant.
I'm telling you. Yeah, just not get pregnant, get married and get pregnant.
Get married and get pregnant.
Back in the day, that was the...
Is there a difference nowadays?
Yeah, now, not anymore, there's not. But back in the day, that was the procedure. You got married, then you got pregnant. Matter of fact, who was it that I was listening to was telling me the story, and they're probably, this lady's probably in her 60s now, that when she went to college, that she was in a sorority. I believe she was either sorority or apartment building, back in the day, women only, and there were no dudes, coming in as women. Anyway, she said that, like, if you went in everybody's, practically any of the girls' rooms, what you would find in their rooms is Bride magazine. They were all fixated. They went to college and they were all fixated on. Matter of fact, we used to call it back in the day. My mom used to kid about this all the time. Women went to college to get their MRS degree. Did you ever hear that?
I have heard that.
Yeah,
yes.
And they went away to college to find. Now, the funny part of it is nowadays, the women outnumber the men 2-1 in some of the colleges. I mean, I saw that the other day and I thought to myself, I knew it was over 50%. Some of the colleges, for every man, there are 2 women in college. Now, I'm not
target-rich environment.
Well, no. Well, for the men?
For both.
How is it a target-rich environment for both? If there's 2 women for each dude, the dude's got his choice. The women got to fight over, table scraps.
Yeah, but you don't know if they're into women or not. So if they're into women, it's a.
So you're saying?
What? Did you just do the Wilhelm scream on me?
No, you're saying that most of the dudes are gay now, and
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, that is what you're saying.
It's a target-rich environment.
It's not. It's the.
It is
okay.
2.
If
2 for every me.
Oh no. You're missing the meaning of target-rich environment. If I'm a fighter pilot, and I'm an American fighter pilot, I'm supposed to shoot down Japanese, and there's 1 of me, and there's 10 of them. Yeah. That's a target-rich environment. I have 10 targets. That is
not a target-rich
Yes, I have 10.
That's
target-rich. Target-rich environment is when there are more targets than. In other words, if there's you, there's more than. In other words, if you've got 3 fighter jets and you come up on six Russian jets, that's a target-rich environment because everybody has their choice of 6 different targets. Okay, that's how it works.
Okay, so in Shelley World,
well, Shelley World is like
the entrance to Toontown.
It's Shelley World is somewhere. I think it's down near Uranus, Missouri. I think it's where Shelley World is.
Oh my goodness! Bite me.
Anyway, Shelley.
6:20.
We not time for a break yet. You can't get out of that. So you're
get out of that. You're stuck here, Barr.
You're saying that if there's more women than men, the women have a target-rich environment?
You don't know what their preference is.
Oh God, that's not the point. It's math.
Oh, there's a point to this.
Yes, there as unbelievable as that may sound, there is a point to this.
Which is?
It's math.
It's what?
It's math. It's like
math?
MATH. It's math, okay?
Uh-huh.
That's what it is. It's math.
Well, tell that to Maverick and Goose. Because that's where I got the target-rich environment.
But once again,
when he was going to sing to Charlie, even though he didn't
when they
know it was
go in the
Charlie.
bar, the reason they said it was a target-rich environment because there was a bunch of pretty women in there. In other words,
exactly my point.
But the point being, it was him and Goose.
So the men have all these women because there's 2-1. That's a target-rich environment.
But I'm saying it's the opposite in colleges now. There are 2 women for every 1 man. So for the men,
for the men, It's a target-rich environment.
Not for the women. You said that earlier. You said the women, it's a target-rich
It
environment.
is if they prefer women.
See,
I'm sorry, that's the world we live in right now.
I know, and that's sad because of the fact that I can't get. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to get something here to work on my computer while I'm talking to you, and I'm doing
Probably because it's BS.
Hold on a minute. That's not that. No, it's not BS. I'm just trying to get something to work, and it's not cooperating with me. I think I need to read.
Kind of like me, huh?
Yeah. Well, see, sometimes you say things like, "What? What did she say? What? What?" Hold on, here we go. Okay, now I'm number one. There's number one. Here's some ones I haven't played in a while. Oh, yeah, I can't. What is going on with my computer? It won't stay on a page. Hold on. Hold on a minute.
I'm an unadulterated fan. There's not a single thing a man can do that a woman can't do as well or better. Not a single thing.
Don't take drugs!
Would she rather carry 20 pounds of batteries or a rolled up solar panel?
Shelley, you are amazing. How do you do it?
How do you do it, Shelley? Tell me.
It's a secret.
Is that what it is? It's a secret?
No, it's non-existent is what it is.
It's non-existent? I can't find my one I want to play here. Darn it.
Which one do you want to play?
I haven't played it in a while, and it always makes you mad when I play it.
Oh, yeah, be sure to do that on Friday.
Always makes you mad.
Let's do it.
And I can't find it.
Well, maybe that's because you're probably not supposed to play it.
Oh, here's the guy who's telling us how to do advertising. You ready? You ready for this guy? This guy is expert at selling things.
People are selling products. They do ads to sell products. And they sell products when they appeal to people.
Did you get that? That's
No.
That's what we need to sell more ads in a radio station. We need to do exactly what he said, right?
I don't know I didn't understand what he said.
Neither did anybody else. Here, once again. Hold on, here we go.
People are selling products. They do ads to sell products. And they sell products when they appeal to people.
Whack jobs.
People are selling products. They do ads to sell products. And they sell products when they appeal to people.
High IQ, stupid people. In other words,
People
they're
are selling
well-educated
products,
but
they
no
do
common
ads
sense.
To sell products, and they sell products when they appeal to people.
I mean, it's like these people dropped acid in an outback parking lot. 401ks have crashed, and the gas has gone from $2 to $5 because the economy is so good.
That's a good one, dude. Oh, man.
Do you feel better?
No, I don't. So we go about target-rich environments. Have you seen the new Maverick movie? I'm the new Top Gun. I think you and I are the only two people that haven't seen it.
Probably.
You know, there's all sorts of weird stuff going on with the streaming channels. You've heard all these things that, like, over the weekend, I heard that, I can't remember which one, Paramount Plus is dropping like 400 shows or something like that. They're just pulling them off. You can't watch them anymore. And some of them are
Netflix is doing the same thing.
Well, some of them are like not politically correct shows. I'm going like, okay, whatever.
None of them have been politically correct shows.
What's interesting to me is the Hollywood producers and the Hollywood stars can complain about, oh, gun violence is terrible. We need to come and take your gun. You shouldn't be able to have an AR-15. You shouldn't be able to have a sawed-off shotgun. And yet every movie, it's got 40 zillion guns in it, and they're killing each other. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, hold on a minute now. You say, me as Joe Citizen shouldn't have a gun, and guns are terrible, but yet you're making your living by showing violence with guns? You know what I mean? How does that work? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you sit there and you watch a show that was like really popular or a movie that was really, really good. It really entertained you. And okay, maybe it scared you a little bit. You're kind of on the edge of your seat. But nowadays, and it left a lot to interpretation, nowadays, they will blow you up right in front of the camera.
Well, think about this.
And splat and bits and pieces will land on the lens.
If The Wizard of Oz came out today, it might not be able to come out because there's all sorts of things in there that you can't do.
There is.
You can eat the flying monkeys.
I heard they took it away.
Well, no, but you can't have flying monkeys. Remember, right now they're renaming monkeypox because they say it offends some people. And
do you know that who would it offend?
Well, here's the problem. They say it offends gay people and black people.
Why?
Well, think about it for a minute.
I am. Why?
With monkey, sometimes black people disparagingly are referred to as monkeys, but yet the interesting thing about it, I
never heard that.
Oh, yeah. I heard this the other night where they said that, like, the monkeypox, 98% of the cases are gay men. It's like,
yeah, the dogs are getting them now, though, too.
The dogs are getting monkeypox?
Yes.
Well, then they're not monkeypox because they're dogpox, right? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, sometimes if I listen to NPR, sometimes
why do you do that?
Well,
you do that over the weekend. It's like your thing.
Some nights when I'm sort of bored at night, I think to myself, okay, I got my choice of putting bamboo shoots underneath my fingernails or listening to NPR. And sometimes NPR wins because it's more painful. I'm a masochist. I'm like, well, if I stick that bamboo shoot underneath my finger, it's going to hurt. But if I listen to NPR, I'm going to be on the floor in pain. And it's funny. Who did I hear the other day say the exact same thing I said? Matter of fact, it was Jamie Allman was talking about this, about how apparently his mom has had an injury. She broke her neck, of all crazy things, which is sad.
Recently?
Yeah, and he's at home, nursing her. He talks about
I'm so sorry.
Well, yeah,
Jamie.
it's terrible. And what's interesting, Dave Glover, I don't know if this is a radio thing, Dave Glover, mom, about 4 or 5 years ago, did the same thing. She tripped over a piece of furniture at her house and broke her neck. Now, both of them, are... I know Dave Glover's mom made almost a complete recovery, and I think Jamie said his mom's going to make a complete recovery as well, too. But he's over there every afternoon because he's on the air with right now, same time we are. And he was talking about his mom wants to listen to NPR. And sometimes he'll sit there and he'll go like, I can't believe I'm paying for this. Because, once again, you and I pay for that. You and I pay for that. And like NPR, there's the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which takes tax dollars and gives it to NPR, and then they give it to the local stations. And then in Missouri, KWMU, St. Louis Public Radio, is paid for by the state of Missouri. That radio station is owned by the University of Missouri Board of Curators. So in other words, it's got state tax money in it. It's got federal tax money in it. And like I told you, what's sad, just the other day, was it Wednesday? 4 people got fired at Odyssey. Staff cutting. Yes,
I heard that.
Staff cutting, okay? Guess what they're running ads on St. Louis Public Radio? We need more reporters. We're hiring more reporters. We've got so much money, we don't know what to do with it. So we'll hire more people. And right now, they did one live show a day between noon and 1. They have no live shows on the air. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. St. Louis Public Radio, KWMU, is using canned program from the network. There's no live shows. None. Zero.
That's a shame.
I mean, there's not a morning show. The guy, hey, this is St. Louis in perspective. They're running All Things Considered in the morning. And then they run all these national shows. There's nothing on the air live. And I'm going like, and the sad part of it is everything that they have on the air, you can stream right now. So in other words, back in the day, where before they were streaming and things like that, you couldn't listen to those shows unless there was a local affiliate like KWMU. Now, you can grab your phone, you can sit at your desktop, you can listen to every single stinking show that's on that radio station. Most of them, they're streamed, and then they're in podcast form. So if you miss them live, you just go, to the podcast. Hey, I need to check out, Morning Edition this morning or whatever it is, All Things Considered, and listen to that. And once again, and they've got like beautiful facilities. They're hiring more. See, it's funny because they run an ad. If you are a journalist and have a journalism degree and have local journalism credit, I'm thinking I'm going to apply. Wouldn't it be funny? I think I will.
It would be hilarious. Are you going to do it, really?
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny? I'll apply.
I think that you should. I double dog dare you.
They probably
go,
well, you're probably your age, shall we say, you have too many rings. I can't say that you're too old, but if we cut you in half and counted the rings, we would probably have too many rings. Okay, fine. You're telling me it's my age. Right? It's just like when they wouldn't hire me at Outback as a waiter.
Yeah.
Remember that? I told you that story.
I know.
Yeah, I upset about that.
I bet they rue the day that they did
Oh,
that.
my God. They wouldn't have to move. They'd still be there in St. Charles kicking butt. Instead, they had to move out of town. They're gone.
Who?
Outback.
Not all totally. There's one in Winghaven.
No, but the one in St. Charles went out of business. See, if
Only because they didn't have
me.
Brad Hildebrand to serve the
They
tables.
didn't have me. I mean, I would have kept the place in business single-handedly. Okay, we got to take a break at 6:31.
Break.
One of my favorite Friday songs.
I'm here to tell you, who knew that Gregorian chants would be so sensual?
I'm telling you, one of my favorite Friday songs. And
I love this.
Whenever I give the name, I'll always have somebody who says, it's not sadness, it's sadness. It's spelled on the album Sadness, which would be sadness. Because if you have an E after an A, it makes it long. So it's Sadness Part 1, and the dude, he calls himself Enigma. And by the way, the woman who's going, and you know what she's saying at the end of the song in French?
No.
Brad, I'm here. Come get me. That's what she's saying. Did you know that?
What a bunch of BS.
That's what she's saying. Brad, I'm here. Yeah. Come get me. This is what she's saying. You don't believe me?
No, I thought she was kind of saying, Shelley, get out of this business. It's going to ruin you.
Shelley, what the hell are you doing on the air with that jerk, right? That's what she's saying.
No, why do you do that? Stop it. Because you're not a jerk all the time.
No, you know what she's saying? She's saying, listen to NPR. It's very good radio. That's what she's saying. Yeah. No, she's doing the NPR breathing. Today at news.
You're going to get in trouble for going against the NPR.
Yeah, right. My old friend, I don't know if she's my friend anymore. She probably doesn't like me anymore. What was her name? Who ran NPR? And she was such a character. God, what was her name?
She's going to be very impressed that you mentioned her today.
That I forgot her name. That's what Patty Wente. Patty Wente, when she came to town, keep in mind, she's the one that switched 90.7. You used to call it 91, Classic 91. It used to be a classical music station.
It did.
Yeah, a long time ago. And they decided they're going to change it to NPR. So they hired Patty Wente, who came from, I think, a station in it used to be the old Sangamon State College, and now it's University of Illinois at Springfield or something like that. Anyway, she ran that station. So she comes to town, and she is like a ball of fire. She's like lightning in a bottle. And she just shakes that place up. So all the classical music, oh my God, they're not playing classical music. They're not playing Tchaikovsky anymore. They're playing, what is this NPR stuff? So first off, she had the classical music people that hated her. Then she had the staff that hated her because she had a bunch of people who were all these classical music geeks. And she essentially said, hey, look, we're not playing classical music anymore. If you want to stay, that's fine. If not, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. So they did this hit piece on her. St. Louis Magazine did this hit piece on her. And she was the cover story of St. Louis Magazine. And they just ripped her to shreds. Made fun of her, talked about how she was a terrible person, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so the first time I go to meet her, I'm running my traffic network. They decide they want to run on my traffic reports. The first time I go meet her, I go into her office, that magazine cover. She was on the cover, and the cover is one of her quotes. When they interviewed her, someone said, one of the reporters asked her, they said, hey, the staff says you're a bewitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say the word, but, you know.
A female dog in heat. Right.
The staff says you're a bewitch. Is that true? And she says, I am a bewitch, but I'm a nice bewitch. So that was they had a picture, full cover picture of her on the front cover of St. Louis Magazine. And they have her quote right in big letters. I'm a bewitch, but I'm a good bewitch. I'm a nice bewitch. She's got it framed on her wall.
I bet she does.
It's on her wall.
That's her wall of frame.
Well, because, and I even said to her, I go, wow, you don't let that one get away. And she goes, hey, you just got, when people come after you, you got to look at it, and she sort of had, what's the old motto? Any publicity is good publicity. You know what I mean?
That's what they say, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
Look at Trump. Once again. How
did this turn into a Donald Trump conversation?
No. The idea being is that The CNN ratings are in the toilet, okay? Matter of fact, they're firing all sorts of people finally at CNN. Why are they firing people? Why is nobody watching CNN anymore? Because they don't Trump bash anymore because he's not the president. And they're not going to bash Joe Biden. By the way, someone sent me this morning. I'm thinking to myself, I almost can't believe this. Okay, first off, I've said this before, and it's not about Biden. It's about any president. You get elected, you work hard to become that president of the United States. Back in the day, it used to be the most powerful position in the world. I think not as more anymore. I think Putin is probably the most powerful person in the world now. It hurts me to say that, but anyway.
Yeah.
So you get to be the president, and you have this fantastic building called the White House that has all this history. And what do? You're never there. Here's the story, okay? You and me are spending $500,000 to put up a security fence around his beach house. Okay. This is going to be at his $2.7 million summer house in North Shores community of Rehoboth Beach on Saturday after spending. Okay, now get this. Here's what's interesting. They remember we talked about the fact that, let me get down to this. This is pretty funny. Okay, remember we talked about the fact they built the Empire State Building in 13 months.
Yes.
At the time, the world's tallest building. From digging the foundation to topping off the building, 13 months. I will read you a paragraph from the story. One paragraph. Construction of the fence began on September 21st of last year and is expected to be completed by June of 2023. What? It's taken almost 2 years to build a fence in his house? What is this? I read it again and thought, hold on, let me read this again. Construction of the fence began on September 21st of last year, which is 2021, right? Okay, yeah. And is expected to be completed by June 6th of 2023. In my mind, that's 21 months. Wouldn't that be 21 months? It's taken 21 months to build a fence at the president's house, and it cost $500,000 that you and I are paying for? Oh my God. And the contract was increased by $6,844 on November 30th, 2021, and then another $26,000 on June 8th of 2022. So in other words, the original estimate was going to be like $490,000. Now it's pushing $530. Okay, I'm going like, okay. It's okay to build a fence around his place, but yet we can't have a fence on the border. You know what I mean? I'm going like, I don't quite understand. I am totally. And once again, it's to the point where, if I were the president, you couldn't pull me out of the White House. If 365 days a year, unless I'm on a world tour or something like that, I'm going like, I live in the most prestigious place in the world. I live in the White House. I can wave my little finger and a Secret Service agent's going to come over and give me a back massage. I can push this button and Domino's Pizza is going to show up in my bedroom. I can push this button and a limousine's going to pull up in front of my house and we go out clubbing at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I mean? I push this button and Air Force One fires up 4 of its jets, a 747, and we go flying somewhere. Wouldn't you be in heaven living in the White House?
I would.
Why would you want to stay at your stupid house in Delaware or whatever it is? I'm going like, okay, whatever. He spends a week at his friend's house in some fancy schmancy island in South Carolina. Then he goes back to the White House for 1 day and he goes back up to Delaware. I'm going like, does this guy ever work? And once again, I say this about all of them. I got mad about Obama playing golf all the time and Trump was running for office. Yeah, when I get to be in office, I'm not going to play golf all the time. So he gets in office. What does he do? He plays golf all the time. I didn't like that about him, okay? At least I will give George W. Bush credit. After 9/11, he never, this story? He never played another round of golf. Ever. Never.
Why?
Because he said that after what happened to our country, I think if I can pull the quote, he said that what happened to our country after we got attacked on 9/11, September 11th, 2001, that he could not bear the fact that he was out enjoying himself while our men and women were under attack in Afghanistan, the whole bit. So he decided that he was just going to focus, and that was just his first term. He was going to focus 100% of his time and energy on protecting our country. And he felt that being on the golf course set a bad example that he's out there, hitting the white ball around and, blah, 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 blah. So he never played another round of golf, ever. I mean, as long as he was president, I'm going, okay, I'll give it to them. Some people make fun of George W. Bush, and I don't think he was the world's best president either. But you know what? Things like that, I get that. With all the crap that's going on in the country, I know people, well, it's different now. When he's at his beach house, he's got all his electronics and stuff like, yeah, we paid for it. It's at the White House. Well, put it in his house. See, now here's the thing. The thing that's sad about this is that if you owned a company and you had a fancy schmancy house, but you owned a company and you put up a fence at your house and your company paid for it, the IRS would have a little talk with you. Hey, that's a business expense. You did improvements at your home, and they paid for the business. That's not right. Get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying.
You get a talking to by the IRS.
That happens frequently.
All the time, right? People that that have boats that try to write them off as a business expense. IRS comes, hey, you got this 30-foot cabin cruiser at the Lake of the Ozarks. Explain to me how that helps your business. Explain to me how that helps you pour concrete if you're like a driveway kind of guy or something like that. You know what I mean? Well, we've got this special pump in the back of the boat, and it pumps concrete all the way from the Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah, right. That's not going to work. Okay, we have to take a break. Because you're mad at me.
Why am I mad at you?
Because of what I'm going to play in a minute. Shelley, are you mad at me?
I absolutely do.
Shelley, who's your most favorite guy in the world?
Because this is your world, and you can create anything that you want in it.
It's Bob Ross. Okay, we have
happy little trees, Brad.
6:49. It is BS.Show. It's Friday. I can play songs like that. Shelley, I've never understood when she says at night the men would come around and lay their money down. Were they like getting their clothes washed or stuff like that? Was that what was going on at night when the men would lay their money down?
Now, what do you think?
I think they were like getting like holes in their pants sewed up.
No, I think they were getting laid.
What? What now? What did you?
Can I say that?
No, you can't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I couldn't say that.
You can't say that. There Shelley goes. We try to make this a family show. We just ruined that on Friday. There's part of that song. There's certain. First off, that's a headphone song. Okay, there are some songs that you need to listen to with headphones because. See, back in the day, they used to use this thing called stereo, and they don't use it as much anymore. Matter of fact, next song I got coming up top of the hour is like super stereo. Okay, but there are parts of that song that you don't really hear unless you listen really carefully with headphones. But there's a part of that song where I don't know if it's bells, where it is, where it goes da 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 da. I'm going like, God, what a neat little thing. And it's like bells. Ding, 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 ding. Here, I don't know if I can play it. Let me see if I can.
Do they go across from one headphone to the other?
No. It's the same. I don't know if I can move. I don't think I can move this along. Hold on a minute. No, I can't control it. I can't control it. So I can't do it.
It's just like women, you can't control them either, Brad.
And why try? Right. Right.
But yet you still keep on, just like the Energizer Bunny.
Not me. I mean, I'm the person.
Please.
I'm the guy who says.
As the driven snow.
No, I'm the guy who says, "Hey, women run the world." I mean, I said, how many times have I said, if women were in power all over the country, we wouldn't have any more wars. We wouldn't have any more wars. We wouldn't have stupid.
We would just have tumbleweeds.
No,
and people tearing their hair out.
No.
Scratching.
If Vladimir Putin was replaced by a woman, the first thing she'd do is say, "I'm going to bring all my troops home from Ukraine. I don't want our boys, our sons, and grandsons being killed in Ukraine. I don't want that. Bring them back." Because women don't do that kind of stuff. Women don't invade countries. Women don't do that kind of stuff. It's stupid.
I bet there are a couple that do.
No, it's stupid men that do that stuff.
You know that there's a couple of women that have gotten into that.
But okay, tell me one. Tell me.
I don't know.
Unless you go back in history, like Catherine the Great or something like that. But like when England had the female prime minister, can't remember her name. God, I'm losing my mind. I can't remember her names anymore. She didn't invade anybody. She didn't attack anybody. I mean, think about that. Like Tashara Jones, the mayor of St. Louis, has she attacked East St. Louis? No. You know, the lady before her, did she attack, Crestwood? No, she didn't, but yet we got goofy Sam Page who's going to say, well, I'm doing this job full time, except when I'm, doing operations at Mercy Hospital, but I'm doing this job. Once again, he lies. Woman would say, if Sam Page were a woman, Sam Page is married to another doctor, if you know that or not. If the other Dr. Page was like running the county, she'd say, you know what? I'll be honest with you. This county gig just doesn't pay enough. So I'm doing job weekend. I'm working at the Mercy. I'm working at the Palace on Ballas on the weekends to, so my husband, Sam, and I can afford a new houseboat at Lake of the Ozarks. Thank you. Be honest. You know what I mean? She'd come right out and say it. You know what I mean? Sarah Palin, once again, how transparent was she? She could say she could stand up on her roof and she could see Russia. She came right out and said it. She can see those kind of stuff. By the way, she's running for House of Representatives. Do you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. And they've got this. We dodged the bullet. They've got that goofy ranked choice voting up in Alaska now. It's so confusing.
I don't know what that means.
It's just bizarre, weird stuff. You vote for you don't vote for one person. You vote for 10 people. If there are 10 people, like we had the Senate race where there are 21 people on the ballot, you'd vote for all 21 people. It's just weird.
And then what do you do after that?
Who the hell knows? It's there's a whole theory behind it. Anyway, we got to take a break. We're coming up on top of the hour. Okay?
Okay. Good tunes, buddy.
6:59. What a great song that is. Remember that one, Shelley?
I do. That was so fun.
John Fred and his Playboy Band.
Playboy Band. That was probably in the 60s or 70s?
I think is interesting. Do you know there's a history of that song? You know what that song is? It's supposed to make fun of a Beatles song.
Oh, okay.
You know what song it's making fun of? Lucy in the Sky with
Diamonds.
Diamonds, yes. And Judy in Disguise. And John Fred and his Playboy Band. And if you listen to it, it's very well produced. It's got, all sorts of parts, and it's got bass. It's got a lot of bass guitar in it. It's got lead, rhythm guitar. It's got horns. It's got strings. And it's got the end of the song, guess I'll just take her glasses. That little twinging, that's a sitar. Remember sitars? And once again, they're making fun of the Beatles because the Beatles went through that stage where they hung out with the Maharishi or whatever the heck he was, and they played the sitar and stuff like that. The Beatles got stoned. They were eating those magic mushrooms and smoking that crazy weed. The Devil's Lettuce is, what's his face? The
Devil's Lettuce.
That's John Fred and the guy's name is actually sort of a sad story because he started, his career started when he was in high school, 15, and he had a band, and he was making money at 15. Once again, boys and girls, you don't need to graduate from high school. You don't need to go to college. Just start up a band. Get a bunch of guys together, and you can call it, Shelley Barr and her Playgirl band, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I actually had a band playing in the basement while my parents were gone.
I can imagine that.
You want to know what their name was?
Tell me what.
J-Bong and the One Hits.
J-Bong and the One Hits.
It's true.
That's like a big band in St. Louis. I don't know if you remember this. Jay Barry and the Reflective Cell. Remember that one?
No.
Jay Barry used to make road cases for me.
What?
Jay Barry was a very prominent musician in St. Louis. And after his and as his musician days sort of waned, he started making cases for his equipment, and the other bands were going like, "Hey man, that's a cool case. Who made that?" "I did." So he went full time in the business making cases, and he used to have a place down in the city, down in South City, and we used to have, back at the old radio station and my old personal stuff with my DJ stuff. I had all my DJ stuff in custom road cases. I mean, some of these cases were like $300, $400, $500 cases, okay? But my equipment always arrived at the job in good shape. I never had like tone arms sheared off and stuff like that. But anyway, that's what Jay. So you go down to this place down in South City, and you'd have a piece of equipment, and we used to use them at the radio station for equipment as well too. And he'd do custom cases, and you'd climb up these steps at a loading dock, and you'd walk into this loading dock here, and there'd be a bell, and you'd hit the bell. And a freight elevator would come down, and Jay Barry would get off the freight. "Hey, man, what's going on?" He was like, long hair, the whole bit. and he'd get his tape measure out, and he'd measure up the piece of equipment, and then he'd say, okay, I'll get this done in about a month. It's going to be like $300-400. Okay, fine, knock it out. And, a month, later, he'd call, hey, Brad, it's Jay. Your case is done. I go down and pick it up. To this day, I still have some of the cases he made 30 and 40 years ago, and they look like they're almost new. I mean, and these are cases that I probably did, I don't know, gazillion different personal appearances with remote broadcasts, DJ spinning record stuff like that. I'm telling you. And now there's a gazillion companies doing this. There's Anvil and a bunch of them. And if you go and that's how these guys can tour all over the country, because they have these custom cases, and they load all in the back of a tractor trailer. How does it not get beat the daylights? Because it's in foam-filled road cases. And they're special. He used to make these. He was one of the first guys in the country to make these shock mount cases, where it was like a case within a case. And between the two cases, there was these like foams. In other words, like for sensitive equipment, like amplifiers and stuff like that. So you could take this case, push it off a loading dock, have it fall like 5 feet, and all the equipment in it was just fine because it absorbed the shock. It was pretty cool stuff. I don't even know if Jay's around anymore or not. Hopefully he's still alive.
You should find out and reminisce.
Yeah, well, he I was going to say something I won't. Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
Can I tell you something? Sometimes I hear things on the radio that just I hear people, and I think to myself, why didn't I think of that? This guy his name is John Tamny, and he's an economist. And if you've ever heard economists talk, it's pretty interesting. They look at the world in a different way, and they look at the world like it's sort of action-reaction kind of thing. And he said
Which
something.
It is.
I listened to him yesterday, and he said something that was amazing. That he said, I'm going to give you an example of why global warming is not that big of a problem. And I'm going like, okay, I got to listen to this guy. Okay, remember, they're saying that as the planet gets warmer, the polar ice caps on the North Pole and the South Pole are going to melt, and they already are melting, and it's going to raise the sea level. So they're saying that like oceanfront property, is going to be, underwater. Get what I'm saying?
I do.
He said, if that's true, why is oceanfront property selling at all-time highs? And I thought to myself, I never thought of that. He said, if you go anywhere along the East Coast, in Florida, along the Gulf Coast in Alabama and, Texas and Louisiana, and especially on the West Coast. He says, think about this. Why is a place in Malibu on the Pacific Coast more expensive than ever? Why is a place on San Diego, on Mission Beach in that area, why is it worth more than it's ever been worth? If we were really going to have global warming and the tide was really, and the sea level was really going to come up 2 or 3 feet, wouldn't that stuff be cheap? And think about it for a minute. It's like, okay, if I said to you, hey, Shelley, I got some, we just had that big flood, like last week before last. I've got a bunch of houses that I'm going to sell you, and they're all $3 million houses. And you're going to go and show up, and you're going to like, well, hold on a minute. Didn't this house just flood like a couple weeks ago? Oh, yeah, but look where it's at. It's a half mile off Interstate 70. Oh, it's got a great location. You're going to go, I'm not paying $3 million for this. I'll give you $10,000 for it because it flooded, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I never thought of that. Why is oceanfront property going for more and more money if it's going to disappear? Does that make
I don't know.
But it once again, and his whole point was, he says, essentially, it's all, he said the whole deal with the global warming is all capitalism kind of in reverse. And I've thought about, what, capitalism reverse? And he's talking about the fact that, he says, look at all the things that are happening with people who are after global warming. What they're doing is they're making things better for the capitalists. And I go, okay, explain that to me. Like, look who our richest man in the world is now. You know who that is?
Elon Musk.
Right. And how did he make most of his money? With Tesla. So in other words, he's essentially saying, hey, there's this terrible thing, global warming. Don't be putting gasoline in your car. Buy an electric car. And he's got everybody buffaloed because of the fact that when you charge your car, if you have a Tesla or any kind of electric car here in the St. Louis area, when you charge it, that electricity comes from coal, which is worse than oil and gas, right? So in other words, he's essentially saying everything's backwards. And I'm going like, I never thought of this before. And he came back to it. He goes, go back. He says, if you don't believe me, he says, contact a real estate agent in any state that has coastal property. Ask that real estate agent, hey, I want a piece of property on, whatever. Let's say you pick something in South Carolina, near Myrtle Beach or something like that. Okay. Tell me what that piece of property, that oceanfront piece of property would sell for 40 years ago. Now tell me what it would sell for today. And you say, I guarantee you it'll be probably a factor of 10. He says maybe even more, maybe a factor of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. He says, why, if there's global warming and it's going to raise the water level, raise the sea level, why would people be buying all this fancy schmancy property? And I'm thinking to myself, I never thought of that. I mean, it is crazy when you think about it, because common sense, and this is what's sort of weird about it. I know real estate investors who told me they became rich overnight back in 2008, 2009, 2010, when stupid Susie Orman was telling you,
strategic foreclosure.
Right. If your house is worth less than your mortgage, just go to the bank and drop your keys on the banker's desk and say, "Sorry, I'm leaving." Okay, stupid Susie Orman, who now is a spokesperson for the Social Security Administration, makes me not ever want to have Social Security. But once again, I know people who bought property like crazy back in 2000. They were buying houses 50 cents on the dollar. They were literally, going like, they were like contacting foreclosure attorneys. Hey, give me a list of what you got in foreclosure. I'll buy it. And because they had cash, they could do it. They didn't have to go to a bank and get financing the whole bit. They bought that property, held on to it for a couple of years, doubled, tripled, quadrupled their money, because it's counterintuitive thinking. It's the kind of thinking that, when something, like, for example, there's a quote I heard the other day about President Lincoln that essentially said, don't be mean to your enemies, love your enemies. And that's not the exact quote, but essentially the idea being is somebody gets mad at you and they go, I hate you, Shelley Barr. You're going to go like, well, I hate you too. But instead,
it happens.
But instead, if you look at
them,
I
don't say I hate you, because there's very few people in this world I absolutely despise.
But if you look at them and you go, oh, I love you so much. Come here, let me give you a kiss. They're going to get even madder because
over and bring your face over here so I can give you kisses.
Yeah, I can't find that right. Otherwise, I'd play that. I play the Shelley drop. Get what I'm saying? It's counterintuitive. Okay. There's all sorts of weird stuff in here. Okay, here's one. I'm going to read you a Vladimir Putin story. Okay, you ready for this?
Sure.
This is a woman's story. Vladimir Putin is reinstituting an award for Russian women. Okay, ready for this?
Uh-huh.
You will be bestowed the title of Mother Heroine, not like the kind of stuff.
It's with O-I-O-N-E.
Heroine, not the kind of stuff you shoot up, but a heroine. A man is a hero, a woman is a heroine. Okay, they will be bestowed the title of Mother Heroine and will get $16,645 for doing what? This is something that the Soviet Union did, and now Vladimir Putin in Russia is now reinstituting this program. They're going to give you the title. You'll get a fancy schmancy ceremony. You'll go to the Kremlin and the whole bit, and you'll get this title, and you'll get essentially it's a million Russian rubles, which comes down to about $16,645. Guess what you have to do?
Do I need to know?
No, take a guess. Take a guess, and it's only women.
I don't want to guess.
Okay, have 10.
Because everything that I would say is probably not allowed on the air.
No, have 10 kids.
What?
Have 10 kids.
Only if you have nice birthing hips.
If you are a woman and you have 10 kids and you will be called
they deserve
right,
mother.
They've delivered more than $16,000.
They do.
You'll be bestowed the title Mother Heroine and given $16,000, and all the kids have to be alive. You can't have, or the only exception is if one of your kids was killed in combat, if they were in the Russian army. So in other words, if you had 10 living kids, you'll get $16,000 and you'll get this title. Now get this. Why are they doing this? Because the population of Russia is shrinking. First off, the birth rate is like a negative birth rate.
They're all over
Yeah, remember we talked about this the other day. Supposedly there's 500 a day Russian soldiers being killed. That's what the Ukrainians claim. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, they said that the fertility rate right now in Russia is 1.84 births per woman, which is below the replacement level of 2.2. So in other words, to keep the population the same, the average woman has to have 2.2 births. So obviously, you have some women, you only had one child, but like, for example, my wife had 4 kids. So in other words, we compensated for the fact that you were a slacker and we were busy grinding out kids. You know what I mean? You were.
Yes, Brad, thank you for that.
You were being a slacker and I was working hard grinding out those kids. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying.
At least my wife was.
I was a kid trying to raise a kid.
Right. Okay. So it gets even better. Okay. So they're upset because they're losing all these young men in Ukraine. Now get this. I thought to myself, if I say this,
are they having them take donations and freezing them?
What do you mean, like the?
Like a cup and a book?
No. You're talking like the soldiers. No. They.
Okay.
I don't think Russia's sort of backwards. I don't think they can do that kind of stuff. I don't think they have turkey basters.
I don't know why we don't do that.
I don't think they have turkey basters in Russia either. So okay, now get this. They're also instituting, and I'm going to read you this. I can't find it. I had it highlighted, and I don't know what happened to it. There's a thing in this article. I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to read this on the air, and Shelley, and nobody is going to believe me. We have all these goofy holidays now, okay? We have there's a gazillion more holidays we used to have. Hey, let's put in another holiday, okay?
Yep.
Okay, now, they're instituting, it talks about the working age population has decreased in terms of percentage of the overall population every year since 2010. Here, I can't find the exact paragraph to read. Here it is. In 2007, Putin introduced a similar push in 2007. Are you ready for this? You're not going to believe this.
What?
In 2007, he declared a national conception day and gave workers a holiday and a day off the next day in order for couples to conceive.
What do you think COVID was all about?
But
I wonder how many babies were born in 2021
the birth rate didn't,
and 2022.
The birth rate didn't go up that much.
Sorry?
It did not go up that much.
Well, it did in St. Charles.
Well, I don't know, but here he's a national conception day, gave workers a holiday, a day off, next day. In the United States.
Do they give them liquor as well?
No, in the United States, National Conception Day, all the women would be at the shopping centers. They wouldn't be at home conceiving. They'd be at the shopping centers. Oh, I got a day off. Don't judge. Okay. National Conception Day. Can you believe that? I mean, can you imagine? Think about it.
It's actually not a bad idea. We should do that.
Can you imagine Joe Biden stepping out the microphone? Today, I'm here to tell you we're going to have a week from Friday, we're going to have National Conception Day. And yes, you may wonder what National Conception Day is. Essentially, what we want you to do is, you men and women, we want you to take the day off and get busy, if you know what I'm saying. Get busy. Create some kids, I mean, and once again, it's not one day. He gives you 2 days off because he says he in 2007 declared a National Conception Day and gave workers a holiday and a day off the next day so you got a 2-day holiday. It wasn't just like, stinky 1-day holiday.
Stinky.
It wasn't.
Really? Brad. Brad.
But I'm going like, I don't believe this. Now, we talked about this because Japan's got the same problem. Japan has a negative population growth.
Do you ever notice that nobody really talks about Japan? They talk about China.
Because the Japanese people got their butts kicked in World War II. We kicked their butt into the last century, and they realized they were stupid. And what do? They work hard. They're hardworking people, and they don't bother anybody anymore. They're not like stupid Putin and all these other and the goofy Chinese dudes and the knucklehead. Remember Gaddafi and people like that. They're not out. They're not out starting wars. They're at home running their country, being proud of their country, making their country better. That's what they're doing. And once again, they learned their lesson. They came after us in World War II. We didn't start World War II. Hitler and Japan started World War II. And we finished it. We kicked their butts. And the Germans to this day are still, under the control of the United States. We have all our Air Force bases and military bases over there because we still provide much of their defense. And the same thing with Japan because they learned their lesson. We protected them. We freed the world from the goofy, weird Hirohito in Japan or whatever, and the horrible Hitler in Europe. We essentially said, we're not putting up for that crap. We're going to beat you into the ground. You're going to rue the day you ever came after us. And it happened and was called VE Day and VJ Day, Victory in Europe Day and Victory in Japan Day. Why do I know this? My dad talked about it all the time.
Yeah, why do you know that?
My dad talked about this all the time, that, it started the theory of walk softly and carry a big stick. We don't carry that big stick anymore. The United States doesn't carry that big stick anymore because of the fact that we got wimps running the government. We got, okay, Mr. Putin, whatever you say. Okay, Mr. Ping, or whatever his name is in China. Oh, yeah, okay. We'll keep buying all your cheap Chinese junk. And you tell us, NBA, don't say anything bad about the Chinese people because they'll get mad at us and they won't be able to fill our Walmart stores with the cheap Chinese junk that they send over. Mr. Ping, whatever you say. If somebody had the spherical objects between their legs, they would say, Putin, you get the hell out of Russia, or guess what? There's going to be this big old ICBM that's coming right at Moscow. Make your mind up right now. Get the hell out of Ukraine. That's what we need. We need real men. Or a woman that has high testosterone level. Something like that.
And they're out there.
We need Patty Wente to be the president. That's what we need.
There are some really bad A women out there.
We need Anna Alt for president. That's what we need.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
She'd walk into the White House and go, "Okay, let's get to work. We got to fix this place. We got to fix this country.
Yeah.
Hey, you people on the border, get in line. Get a number. Take a number. We'll think about letting you in. Hey, Putin." Do I have to come over there and kick your butt? Do I have to come over there and pull what little hair you have on your head? Do I have to grab you by the ear and say, don't go into Ukraine? That would be Anna Alt, right?
It would probably be her, yes.
People are going like, who's Anna Alt?
Oh, everybody. If you're in St. Charles, you know who Anna Alt is.
That's who it is. Okay, we have to take a break. Have I ranted enough?
No, I think it's been lovely.
7:26. It is BS.Show. Friday, I can get away with songs like that. What's that line they yell when you're on the dance floor doing that song in like a wedding reception? What do they say again, Shelley? What do they say? Don't do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, don't do it. Okay. Tommy James and the Shondells, although...
How much is that worth to you that I don't do it?
Let me think.
Lunch?
No, I won't take the nitrogen out of the air, out of your tires in your car. Okay. I'll leave it in. Okay. Smartest woman in the world. Once again, Shelley, smartest woman. She's the smartest woman and you're not. I hate to say that. You said, well, there's all sorts of babies since the pandemic. In 2021, 3.7 million babies. That was only 42,000 more than normal. So like what, 1% or something like that? 1%, 2% more, something like that? A little bit more than 1%? 3.7 million, 42,000. That would be like 1%, wouldn't it? Let me think. 3.7 million, 10% would be 370,000, and 1% would be like 37. So it's a little bit more than 1%. So only 1%. Now, our population has been dropping. Our birth rate has been dropping 2% a year since 2014. So we have the same problem. Country's getting smaller, less babies being made.
And cars are getting bigger.
No, they're okay. Also,
what?
I shouldn't say this. Why is Japan being nice to us? Because we blew them up twice, which we did.
Oh, that was nice.
Well, see, once again, like, for example, I give you a perfect example. You have all this crime in the city. Now it's spilled out into St. Louis County. Okay. Why is there relatively little crime in Franklin County and St. Charles County? Because you got hard butt people who run the counties. You got Tim Brinker in Franklin County that if crime starts to break out, he goes down to the sheriff's department and go, hey, go throw these guys in jail. And they go out and throw them in jail. The same thing in St. Charles County. Remember, Steve Ellman tells the story We had him on the air early this week. Steve Ellman, Steve Ellman once a year goes around and talks to all the various civic organizations, chambers of commerce and stuff like that. And he gives sort of like state of the St. Charles County speech. And he always tells the story about they monitored the prison phones. If you get thrown in jail in St. Charles County, you call you have your one call, and you can call your mom or your dad or somebody, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. And they monitor the calls. And he says many, many, many times they hear people go, "You're not going to believe it. I'm in jail in St. Charles County. If I would have done what I did in St. Louis County, I'd be out in an hour." So in other words, the idea being is they're going like, I don't think I'm coming back to St. Charles County to rape and rob and pillage anymore because of the fact that they throw people in jail. They don't do that in the city and the county. Remember? I mean, it's just gotten to the point where it's like, okay, you commit a crime, like for example,
got to take your comeuppance.
All the people they arrested, every single person they arrested during the George Floyd, uprising, they dropped the charges. Every single person. Every single person that got caught throwing bricks through windows and stealing stuff. Matter of fact, there's that famous photo on the Post-Dispatch, which still blows me away, of 3 police officers standing next to their squad car as these women walk by with all the clothes they stole from the store. They just walk right by the police. We stole this stuff. We just, and the police saw them do it. Just walk right by. Who cares? You broke into a place. That poor guy owns the shop. And you know what people say? Well, it didn't hurt the business person because he's got insurance. Maybe, maybe not. And not only that.
Exactly. That's what happened to the flood people.
Well, but the problem is, let's say you do have insurance. Guess what? Once you make the claim, one of 2 things is going to happen. They're either going to, A, cancel you, or your rates are going to go through the roof.
Exactly.
And so yeah, you may have insurance. Like, yeah, right. And it's crazy. I think everybody, especially the politicians, before you get elected office, I think you should have to start and run a business for 5 years. You should have to essentially start a business, run it for 5 years, and then you would have a totally different outlook. For example, I'm not going to attribute this to a certain person because I don't want to get them in trouble. Pete Buttigieg, who's our Department of Transportation, now he's putting all these restrictions on the airlines. He's going to put all these new restrictions. And the comment, and this is a person that knows what they're talking about, once Pete Buttigieg throws all these regulations at the airlines, a basic airline ticket is going to be a minimum of $500 each way. And because, once again, when you have more rules that you have to comply with as a business person, it costs you more to operate your business. If, like, for example, if the FCC would show up here at the radio station every day, oh, Brad, look, that connection right there, a little bit dirty, you need to fix that. And, oh, Brad, look over here, you've got this wire, insulation's frayed a little bit. I'd have to hire a full-time engineer just to fix all the problems the FCC would find. Now, I'm not saying they would, but you know what I'm saying? In other words, if you had somebody who was constantly regulating you and looking over your shoulder all the time, you'd have to have somebody just essentially to walk around with that FCC or the government inspector. You have it already in certain industries, like in the meat packing industry. You have like people, the USDA people that hang out. They're looking over everybody's shoulders. It costs money. Anyway, how do we talk about that?
It also costs money to run a radio station.
Well, I told you, if you want an interesting interview, bring an insurance agent to talk flood insurance. Yeah, that would be interesting because everybody's confused about that.
It really will, because what happened is a lot of the people that were in the flood a couple weeks ago.
Right, don't have insurance. Don't have insurance because it wasn't covered.
Right. They had insurance, but it didn't have flood insurance.
Right.
Because they weren't in a floodplain.
Well.
And so a lot of these people, not a lot, but they have lost everything.
They didn't think they were going to get flooded because you think if you're not in a floodplain.
Because you're not in a floodplain.
Which is sad. I drove down to Clayton the other day. I guess it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I drove down to Clayton, and there was an accident at 170, so I bumped off of 170 at Page and went down Hanley. And you go through U City. I don't know if you know this or not. There's a spot in U City south of Del Mar where you go down a hill, and at the bottom of the hill, it's the River des Peres, believe it or not. It's where the River des Peres starts, ultimately goes underneath Forest Park, and then comes out and goes all the way to the Mississippi River. And at first I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? These people moving? House after house after house. There's mounds of furniture on the front lawn. Furniture and clothing and carpeting and stuff like that just stacked up in the front lawn because they all got flooded. And I'm going, how sad is that? And some of these houses, there's a couple of them that are right next to River des Peres. Matter of fact, if you go down the end of that hill, and you come up the hill on your left, if you're going south in North Hanley, if you go, that makes sense, south in North Hanley. If you're going south in North Hanley, you look over to your left, it's U City High. River de Pere is right there. And there's a house that sits right next to River de Pere. I got a feeling that house was probably like 6 feet underwater. But all up and down that street, there's tons of people that have all this stuff, all their belongings, all their keepsakes, all their furniture and carpet, just out in the front lawn. University City guests coming, picking up, and I'm going like, God, that's sad. All these people that got, like we have clients that got their butts kicked,
Yes,
and it's sad. And, but once again, and, like, for example, yesterday I heard, the Metrolink has not been totally functional. Now they're saying it's going to be 4 to 6 months before they fix all the damage down there in the Central West End. And they're saying that they might be able to get one track back up and running within the next couple of weeks, but it'll be 4 to 6 months before they're able to repair all the damage. So Metrolink will be back to normal. I mean, think about that. I mean, I'm going like, whoa, that flood was what, 2-3 weeks ago now?
It was.
Man.
And there are still some people that are still working with the insurance companies, and their places are so totally trashed, and gutted, still.
Okay, the smartest woman in the world says, if it's through the roof, you're covered. Through the windows during tornado, you're covered. Rushing water on ground, not covered. That's what happened to some of these people.
Yeah,
once again,
it's tragic.
If something falls into your roof, like let's say a tornado, and it knocks out part of your roof or it knocks out your windows and the rain comes in, you're covered. Rushing water on the ground, not covered. Also, I'm glad she reminded me of this. They said now it's going to cost $40 million to fix the Metrolink back the way it was. $40 million. I mean, like crazy stuff. And the crazy part of it is our KRAP transmitter site, which, once again, I won't talk about this publicly because I get myself in trouble. Our KRAP transmitter site, which still has a trailer on it because we haven't been able to build a permanent building. I've owned that radio station for 24 years now, and I've been told, well, it's going to flood any day down there now. It's never flooded. It's never flooded since I've owned the station. Since 1998 when I bought the stations. Never flooded. And they won't let me build my building back because it's going to flood any day now. No. 24 years, and it never flooded. Talk to those people down in, talk to those people down in Chesterfield Valley. Talk to those people in U City and in St. Peter's and O'Fallon and places got flooded. U City
and
Wentzville, places like that.
They got hammered too.
Well, once again, it's not normal to get, in some places 12 inches of rain, like in 4 hours or some crazy thing like that. And then a couple days later, we get we get mother of all storms number 2. You know what I mean? Comes through.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She was lonely.
40 million.
Super lonely.
40 million. Okay, hold on. One more thing to talk about. Oh, okay. I've talked, you know what? I tell you, we'll pick this up the next break. I talked about that the body cam for the police has backfired because the protesters, we want body cams in the police. We want everybody to show how bad those police are. Here's another crazy, weird story. And guess where this story's out of? Take 2 guesses. Germany or Florida? Guess which one it is.
Florida.
Okay. We'll talk about a crime where the police ended up shooting and killing a guy. And you're going like, well, that's terrible. Wait till you hear the story. And once again, it's on body camera. Body camera. And it's like, okay. And it's crazy. If you watch, you can see these on YouTube all day long. You watch some of these videos. It's like, who in their right mind would want to be a cop? Someone sent me this thing yesterday. I don't know what happened. I think it was last year, where they get a report of this guy walking like in downtown near downtown Los Angeles, walking along the street, got a backpack, keeps pulling on a gun, points the gun at people, puts the gun back in his backpack. The video starts out with a 911 call. The guy's, hey, there's this guy in the corner of X, Y, and Z, and he's just walking around looking sort of goofy, and he pulls out a gun and he starts pointing at people. So then you start to see the dash cams and the body cams of the police, and the first police car pulls up to the guy. What does the guy do? Pulls out his gun and starts firing at the police car. I'm going like, okay, this is not going to turn out well for this guy. I'm going like, okay, what is going on with this? I mean, how do you think you're going to survive when you start shooting at police? Especially in LA, where there's going to be like
SBC
40,000 cops who are going to converge on the scene, and they're going to, we're getting this guy. He fired at our brother police officer. He's going down. You know what I'm saying?
It's called SCP. No.
It's SBC, Southwestern Bell Corporation. That's what it is. Okay.
Yes. I said that the first time.
We have to take a break at 7:43. Whatever the hell that means. Shelley's on her game this morning, right?
Bite me, Brad.
It is BS.Show. Okay, Shelley, tell me
my life is complete.
Tell me I'm on target with music today, right?
Absolutely.
I played
Facebook.
Judy in Disguise. I played Moni Moni. I played Little Less Conversation. Now, talking about a sexist song. You ever listen to the lyrics closely?
Yeah, but it was okay back then.
Let's do a deep dive into the lyrics. A little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfactioning me. Great.
Well, I mean, you get to a point where it's like, are you ever going to shut up?
A little more bite and a little less bark. A little less fight, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart. Baby, satisfy me. Baby, close your eyes and listen to the music, drifting through a summer breeze. It's a groovy night, and I can show you how to use it. Come along with me and put your mind at ease. A little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfactioning me. A little more bite, little less bark, little less fight, little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart, baby. Come on, baby. I'm tired of talking. Grab your coat and let's start walking. Come on. Don't procrastinate. Don't articulate. Girl, it's getting late. Getting upset. Waiting around. Little less conversation. Little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfactioning me. Little more bite. Little less bark. Little less fight. Little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart. And baby, satisfy me. Is that like,
I'm sure the women went wild.
Right. And today, if that song came out,
I just love him.
If that song came out today, oh my God, that song by this guy named Elvis is so terrible. He's talking to a woman. Shut up and satisfy me. It's a terrible song. Ban that. You know, and next thing tomorrow, hi, I'm Joe Biden, and we've just banned this new song called Little Less Conversation. Can no longer be played in the United States. It's a terrible song.
Ridiculous.
Okay, here's the story. Once again, body cameras are not the friend of the criminal because they're catching all this weird stuff, okay?
Yeah, they caught me. The state patrol caught everything on his dash cam when I had a little fender bender with the curb.
Did he show it to you?
No, he said he saw everything.
No, he didn't see it on his dash cam. He saw it with his eyes because
I understand that,
Shelley,
but his dash cam is on 24, right?
No, it's only on when he's behind men drivers. When he's behind women drivers, they turn it off.
Whatever, Brad.
It's true.
Blah, blah, blah.
You think I'm kidding. I'm not.
No, I do think you're kidding.
I'm not. Shelley had an accident, and what happened was she's driving along she's passing a state highway patrol guy, Missouri State Highway Patrol.
I did not pass him.
She's passing him, and he was doing the speed limit, and she whipped around him, and he turned on the lights, so she flipped him off, and while she's flipping him off, she loses control of the car and runs into a curb.
Never.
It's
You stop it.
Okay, here's the story.
Quite frankly, I didn't even know he was behind me. I was too worried about running up on the curb.
That's what she said. Okay, so.
Yes, you did.
Okay, this is a story out of Fruitville, Florida. Police dispatcher, 911 dispatcher gets a police call, okay? Phone rings. She answers the phone. 911, where's your emergency? The guy says, quote, I woke up in a mattress at my house, and there's a guy lying next to me. He's saying, I love you. I'm weirded out. He's got a machete in his hand. Boy, get here quick. And the police dispatcher says, what? And he says, I have an intruder that broke into my house. He's got a blankety blank machete, and he's a little whacked. So the dispatcher asks him one more time, what's going on? And he says, he's here, and I woke up in bed. He's next to me. He says he loves me. He's sharpening a machete with a baseball bat. Now think about that for a minute. You're sharpening a machete with a baseball bat, okay? So 911 operator dispatches the police, and the closest cars were detectives. So the detectives show up at this guy's house, and they confront this guy, and sure enough, they go in this guy's house, and the detectives confront a guy wielding a 2-foot-long machete. And they pull their guns on him, and they say, drop the machete, drop the weapon. And he says, no. He charges the police and almost cuts off one of the detectives' hands with the machete. So guess what?
They all fired upon him?
And he's dead. And now people are saying, that's terrible. Look what you did.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, this man was clearly going to harm this other gentleman.
Well, he almost cut off. And they said the police department, the chief of the police department said, I pray to God he doesn't lose his fingers or his hand. I can tell you it's not life-threatening, but these are critical injuries. This is a spokesperson for the sheriff's office. And they said he had to go into reconstructive surgery. They say they do not know if they're going to be able to save the detective's fingers, that essentially the machete wound was so deep that it apparently cut through like the bones and the tendons and stuff like that. And they may have to amputate his hand. And so once again, it's like, and they get mad because...
This is the police officer, right?
Yes, this is the detective.
Okay.
He was like first on scene, comes in, confronts this guy, says, drop the machete. He comes after them. And once again, think about this. Think how if he got close enough to the point where he chops the detective's hands off, he was like right there in front of him. It wasn't like he was... 50 feet away and they unloaded on the guy. He's attacking the police officers with a machete. And he almost literally chops the one detective's hand off. And so people are going, it's terrible. This guy needed. And once again, they're saying, here we go. They're saying the police should not have been dispatched. There should have been a social worker dispatched.
What?
So that's what they're saying.
Who said that?
People are saying this all the time now. That's the whole thing with
people are wrong.
That's the whole thing with the defund the police.
That's ridiculous.
They're saying, well, the guy wasn't a criminal. He was just having a mental breakdown. Okay.
Being a social worker is not an easy task.
Well, can you imagine you're a social worker and you get dispatched, hey, Miss So-and-so, we've got a guy waving a machete around. Matter of fact, the guy woke up in bed and there's a guy laying next to him and he's sharpening a machete with a baseball bat and he says, hey, I love you. And he calls the police. The police showed up, but you know what? We're not going to send the police. We're going to send you, Miss McGillicuddy, because you're a social worker. You can probably talk this guy down, right? So she shows up, opens the door, and the guy comes after.
Don't forget your taser. We'll be right outside.
Well, yeah, the police are going like, hey, Miss McGillicuddy, you know better than to deal with these guys than we do. We'll open the door, and you can go in and talk to the guy. She opens up the door, crock, off her head goes, right? I shouldn't say that, but
you should really take that one back.
No, but once again, it's like how do you deal with crazy? Like I said, the one he talked about how the
crazy crazy does.
No, the guy in downtown L.A. He's like on Sepulveda, which is like a big, and they get all these 911.
He's on what?
It's a street called Sepulveda. It's in Los Angeles. Okay.
Okay.
He's on the corner of like some busy street in Los Angeles. I just talked about this last break. 911 calls start flooding in. There's a guy on the corner of X, Y, and Z Street. In L.A., and he's walking around and he's pointing a gun at people. So the first police car, you see it from the dash cam and the body cam, the first police car crosses over traffic, crosses through the intersection, drives right up to the guy. The guy sees the police car coming at him. He pulls out the gun and fires like 6 rounds at the police car. Okay, so you're going to essentially say, hey, dude, put the gun down. Let's talk. Let's call the social worker in. We know you're having a rough day, and we know that a social worker can talk you down right now. So stop firing those bullets at us, which could kill us. We're going to call the social worker, and she's going to talk you down, right?
Yes.
I know a couple social workers, and they have told me...
There's no doubt.
No, they have told me stories that they get sometimes called into situations where, and this is the interesting part of it, is their company policy is if they don't feel comfortable, guess what they do?
What do?
They
cry?
They call the police.
You want to cry?
If they don't feel comfortable going into a situation, let's say, there's been some violent activity in the house or something like that, kid or husband or wife or something like that, they call the police and the police show up with them. So what good is it defunding the police if the police are going to show up anyway? You know what I mean? And a couple of these social workers, one told me that there have been several issues where she's going, I'm not going there. I know what's going on in that house. I'm not going in. And the police show up and they end up having like somebody coming in with a knife. It's like, okay. So the social worker who's unarmed is going to walk in and the guy's not going to knife her, but the police, he's going to knife. That's what they said. Well, the police, they're there to escalate violence. Like this one, they escalate the violence where this guy shows up and he's chopping hands of the police off with a machete. Yeah, the social worker's going to, hey, you know what? Put that machete down. We can talk. Let's go down to Starbucks and let's have a triple frozen kakibaki latte, and you and I will just sit in Starbucks and we'll just talk this out. Just put that machete down, right?
Yes.
Like that's gonna work.
BTW,
Yes.
7:59.
I know. I blew it. I'm way over again. I got too busy talking about machete-wielding guys.
I know that must have been on your mind.
Do we blow our last song off? Do we just say hell with it?
Nope.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll take the break. We'll be back. Ah, yes. One of my all-time favorite songs. Although the smartest woman in the world says it's a dull, boring song, and it's all about bubbly fountains, and she hates it.
I'm sorry for that, because I think it's lovely.
By the way, we have to get out of here because we're on overtime, and you and I are getting paid triple time.
Yes, I know.
3 times 0 is still 0.
Totally ridiculous.
Right, okay.
But you have to do the station ID.
Before I do that, I have to tell you something has just happened earlier this week. Remember how I told you I'm the milk crate freak? I buy milk crates all the time. I think I'm up to like 40 or 50 milk crates, and I'm not the most organized guy in the world, but milk crates have helped me organize. I'm not stealing the milk crates. I'm buying them. And what's interesting is there's a place in Union that makes the milk crates called Buddy's, and I've not been able to contact anybody until Wednesday.
Anybody?
Anybody.
Did you see what I did there?
Yes, I could not. Buddies, Buddeez, and they make milk crates. They make a bunch of other stuff. Big plant in Union. Okay,
so this week.
Okay, so I make contact with someone from Buddeez, and I'm trying to do some business with them, trying to advertise the fact that they are trying to hire people. Okay, you ready? And
yes.
I send them a picture of my milk crate case that I make. Have I ever shown you a picture of this?
You have not.
Of these things I make. I made it on 2x4s, and they're on wheels, and I can stack like 6 milk crates. And this is my organizational thing. I'm not the most organized guy in the world, so I send a picture of my milk crate organization system that I use here at the radio station with all my tools and stuff like that. And I send it to this person at Buddy's. I won't mention her name yet because I don't know if she would appreciate that. And now she's like, "Oh my God, we need you as a spokesperson." She wants to give me a tour of the plant, and she just sent me this email. I'm just reading it right now. "Hi, Brad. Sorry for the delay. We're working on trying to get an ad on the air. Sorry, that's the delay. We're celebrating 30 years in business and 7 years no lost time injuries today. So I've been busy helping to get everything together to celebrate with our employees. Today we are furnishing a fried chicken dinner, giving away a variety of hats, koozies, and just going to be a great day." So this is what they're doing for the employees. This is Buddy's in Union, 30 years in business, 7 years, no lost time injuries. Now, this is a plant where they have, hot plastic and stuff like injection molding and stuff like that, big machines, presses and things like that. 7 years, no time injury loss. That's pretty impressive, don't you think?
That is very impressive, actually.
I mean, and that could be just some guy falling over like a pallet on the floor and breaking his arm. You know what I mean? Could be anything. Could happen any place. It's 30 years in business, 7 years with no time lost injuries. Salute to the Buddy's people, Buddeez in Union.
Bravo, boys.
Even if you don't do business with me, and once again, a locally owned and operated business, love it. Okay, got that plug in. Man, I hope I get some milk crates.
With 2 amazing people.
Who's the amazing people?
You and me, Brad.
Speak for yourself. I'm not amazing. I'm perplexing. I think most people would say that about me. Okay.
Polarizing, maybe?
Me?
That's what I am.
Never polarizing? Come on.
Yeah, I'm polarizing.
Matter of fact,
it's a genetic thing.
Remember, we're talking about here. I got it. One last thing. We're talking. Somebody just sent me this, and it's funny because we're talking about where is this? Okay, we're talking about the fact that if there really was global warming, why would people be buying oceanfront property?
Yeah.
Here's an article entitled "Obama's Accused of Hypocrisy on Climate Change for Buying Waterfront Property in Martha's Vineyard." And it shows a picture of the property they bought. It's got all sorts of oceanfront. If global warming was really going to happen and their place was going to be flooded, do you think they'd buy it? No, they wouldn't buy it.
Probably not.
You'd go
but then again, there were people that didn't think that they were going to be flooded and got and lost everything.
Yeah, but they're people
So
that
it's a crapshoot,
they're,
really.
they're people. There used to be a mobile home court in Frenchtown up there in the north end of St. Charles that every time
Yes, there did.
every time 3 drops of rain came out of the clouds, it got flooded. And people, well, I got to move back into my house. I can't leave my house. It floods every third week. Well, I can't move my house. That's my house. Got to live there. And if you offered that guy $10, he'd be gone. And he didn't say, hey, I've got this beautiful riverfront property in Frenchtown that floods every 2 weeks. Will you give me $10 million for it? No way. Hey, I've got this beautiful oceanfront property in Martha's Vineyard, and you know what? When the polar caps melt, that, my mansion's going to be 10 feet underground. I'll give you $100 million for it. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm done.
Are you done?
It's 8:09.
Stick a fork in you, you're done?
We've gone way over. Okay. To be totally legal. Have a good weekend, Shelley, before I say that. And then I got to end with this.
Thank you, Brad. You
and
too.
All the things I said to make fun of you, you know what? I meant them all.
I know that. Be legal, Brad, and get off the air.
K296 HA Washington, KRAP AM Washington, KSOQ FM Washington. Have a good weekend.
Peace and I fly.
Have you heard about Salt River Automotive? Not only are we open for business and ready to serve you, we are sponsors of the BS in the Morning Show on Westplex 107.1. Check us out on Facebook at Salt River Automotive LLC. See you soon.